about that time, John chapter 13, verse 4, Jesus got up, it says, from the table, took off his robe. And I was looking for a towel that wrapped around me, but this is all you get. Took off the robe and wrapped the towel around his waist. Verse 5. He says he poured water into a basin. Begins to wash the disciples' feet, drying them with the towel he had taken from around him. Jesus begins to wash their feet. See, what's going on here? You got to understand, this is pretty normal. See, back then they had to walk wherever they was going, see. And people wore sandals, and feet washing was pretty normal. And they wore sandals, and there was always dust all around, and they didn't have blacktop roads like we have today. And there was always dust just flying around, and when someone came to your house, you would greet them. You would offer to take, let me get your coat, and can I offer you a drink? And then he said that they would always ask, can we get you a pedicure? He's like, don't even think about it, Pastor. Yeah, sure, he said. But what I want you to notice is that it wasn't the host who would do the washing. It was always the servant. See, because to wash feet was considered the lowest of one of those jobs. It was a humiliating thing. And so it was the servant. And you got to understand that because feet, they were always exposed. Feet was jacked up back then. You think you got some nasty feet. But Emmanuel, God with us, the living water, the Lamb of God, the true vine, the bread of life, the light of the world, the living stone, the King of glory, the Prince of peace, our great high priest, the righteous judge, the chosen one, the King of all kings. He is the Lord of all lords. He is the Alpha and he is the Omega. He is the beginning, the last, the first, and the last. He's the beginning and the end. He is our Redeemer. He is our rock. He is our waymaker. He is our healer. Whatever you need, God's got it. He has it for you to bestow upon your life. And in this occasion, he sees dirty feet. He kneels down. And the God of heaven, who put on a man's fleshly robe as a man comes down, and while everybody else is talking about how great they are, he says nothing, and he stops and begins to wash feet, kneeling down. The Creator is now the servant. And Peter, who's sitting in the chair, he says, Jesus, wait, what? No, this ain't going to happen. You ain't washing my feet. And Jesus looks up and says, Peter, if you don't allow me to wash your feet, you've missed the point. In fact, he says, Peter, what you're saying, if you don't allow me to be your servant, you have no part with me, because I am a servant. And Jesus came to our world not to be served. He says, Peter, but I came to serve. I came to live a life selflessly. And let me stop for a moment and say, every time that you serve somebody else, what you're saying, he tells Peter, is that when you serve others, you're actually serving me. When you are serving others, you are serving Christ. Serving isn't something that we do. A servant is who we are. Jesus tells the story in Matthew 25 because people started to ask questions, and even somebody in the room says, how is it that when I serve somebody else, I'm serving Jesus? I'm serving him. He says, but when the Son of Man comes, he says, in his glory and all the angels with him, then he'll sit upon his glorious throne. Just keep rolling through that, sis. All the nations are going to be gathered in his presence, and he will separate the people as a shepherd separates the sheep from the goats. What do you want to be? He will place the sheep at his right hand and the goats at his left. Then the king will say to those on the right, come, you who are blessed by my Father, and inherit the kingdom prepared for you from the creation of the world. For I was hungry, and you fed me. I was thirsty, you gave me to drink, and I was a stranger. You invited me into your home. I was naked, and you gave me clothes, and when I was sick, you cared for me. When I was in prison, you visited me. Then the righteous ones replied, Lord, when did we ever see you hungry and feed you, or thirsty and give you something to drink? Or a stranger and show you hospitality, or naked and give you clothing? When did we ever see you sick or in prison and visit you? The king will say, I tell you the truth, when you did it to one of the least of these, my brothers and sisters, you were doing it to me.